My best friend confessed her baby is my husband's. Now she wants me to help raise it. I'm a 31-year-old woman, and until a few months ago I thought I was living a safe, ordinary life. Married to David for 6 years, solid job, and my best friend Lily by my side since childhood. She was basically family, we shared secrets, vacations, even holidays. Then Lily got pregnant. She was single at the time, and when she told me, I was the first person she called. I hugged her, congratulated her, promised I'd be there every step of the way. She smiled with tears in her eyes and whispered, "I knew you'd understand." But as the months passed, little things started nagging at me. She dodged questions about the father. She said he was complicated, that it was better if people didn't know. Every time I pressed, she changed the subject. I told myself it wasn't my business, until one night, everything snapped. It was late, after dinner at her apartment. She was 8 months along, exhausted, emotional. Out of nowhere, she burst into tears. I held her, asking what was wrong. And then she said it. "The baby's father is David." For a second, I thought I'd misheard. I pulled back, staring at her swollen belly, her tear-streaked face. What did you just say?" She sobbed harder. "I'm sorry. I never meant for it to happen. It was just once, when you two were fighting. I didn't think it would, but then I got pregnant. And he doesn't know. You're the only one I can trust with this." The room spun around me. My best friend. My husband. Their child. And then she said the part that broke me even more, "I can't do this alone. I need your help to raise the baby." I couldn't even answer her. My mouth opened, but no words came out. The silence stretched so long that Lily's sobs filled the room, echoing off the walls. I stood up suddenly, like my body had decided for me. I grabbed my coat and keys and walked out. The air outside was freezing, but I barely noticed. My hands shook on the steering wheel the whole drive home. When I pulled into our driveway, David's car was already there. He was inside, lounging on the couch, scrolling on his phone like it was just another evening. I stood in the doorway, staring at him, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. He looked up, smiled. "Hey, babe. You're home late." Something inside me snapped. "Whose baby is Lily carrying?" I asked, my voice flat. He blinked, his smile fading. "What?" "You heard me." My hands were shaking now, but my voice was steady. She told me. She told me everything." The color drained from his face. His phone slipped from his hand onto the couch. For a long moment, he didn't move, didn't speak. And that silence told me everything. Finally, he whispered, "It was just one time." My knees almost gave out. Hearing him say it, confirming it, was worse than Lily's confession. "One time?" I spat. "You got my best friend pregnant, David. Do you have any idea what you've done? What you've destroyed?" He stood, his hands out like he was calming a wild animal. "It didn't mean anything. We'd had that fight, you remember? You said you were thinking about staying with your mom for a while, and I was drunk, and Lily was just there. It was a mistake." I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "A mistake? That mistake is about to be born, a human being. And you thought you could just bury it?" His face twisted with guilt. "I didn't know she was pregnant until months later. She begged me not to tell you. She said she'd handle it. I thought it was over." I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. "And when exactly were you planning to tell me? When the baby started calling you dad?" He stepped closer, desperate now. "I love you. I want you. Not her. Not the baby. Just you. Please, don't let this ruin us." I stared at him, my chest tight, my stomach churning. The man I thought I knew, the man I married, had betrayed me in the most intimate way possible. And my best friend had been part of it. I couldn't even look at him anymore. I grabbed my bag and walked upstairs. He followed, begging, pleading, but I slammed the bedroom door and locked it. I slid down against the door, shaking uncontrollably, my tears soaking into my shirt. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lily's tearful face, David's guilty eyes, their whispers and laughter that must have happened behind my back. By morning, I had made up my mind. This wasn't just a betrayal. This was war. If they thought I was going to quietly accept their child into my life like nothing happened, they didn't know me at all. The morning after that confrontation, I didn't speak a word to David. He tried to stop me as I left the bedroom, begging me to eat breakfast, to talk, to work through this. But I couldn't even look at him. I went straight to work with swollen eyes and shaky hands, praying no one would ask questions. All day, I replayed everything in my mind. Lily's confession. David's silence. The way both of them had looked at me like I was the one who had to handle their mess. And the more I thought about it, the angrier I became. They hadn't just betrayed me. They had humiliated me. Lied to me, and now they expected me to help raise the product of their betrayal. That night, I sat at my desk with a notebook and wrote everything down. Dates, conversations, details that didn't add up. I was building a timeline. If this was going to turn into a battle, and I knew it would, I wanted to have the truth written down before they could twist it. 2 days later, Lily showed up at my house unannounced. She looked tired, her belly even bigger, her hands clutching a folder of ultrasound pictures. "I thought we should talk," she said softly. The audacity nearly knocked me over. But I let her in. I wanted to hear what she had to say. She sat on the couch, nervously smoothing her dress. "I know this is hard. But you have to believe me, I didn't plan this. It just happened. And now I'm terrified. I can't do this alone. David doesn't want to leave you. He loves you. I love you. We can find a way to make this work." I laughed bitterly. "You love me? You slept with my husband, Lily. You're carrying his child. And now you want me to, what? Be some kind of stepmother?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I don't have anyone else. My family won't help me. I thought maybe, because of our history, you'd understand. Please. You've always been the strong one." That broke something in me. She wasn't even asking for forgiveness, she was asking me to save her from her own choices. I leaned forward, my voice cold. "I will never raise that child. And if you think I'll keep this secret for you, you're insane." Her face went pale. "You wouldn't." I stood up. "Watch me." She left in tears, but I didn't feel guilty. I felt empowered. For the first time since the bomb dropped, I was in control. That night, I told David exactly what I told her. If he thought I'd cover this up, he was wrong. He begged again, swearing it was one mistake, that he didn't want to lose me. But I saw the panic in his eyes. He wasn't worried about losing me, he was worried about losing his reputation, his image as the faithful husband. So I made a decision. I called my parents. I called a few close friends. And I told them everything. The shame in David's voice when my father showed up at our door, demanding answers, was almost satisfying. The disappointment in my mother's eyes when she looked at Lily's ultrasound picture made me want to scream and cry at the same time. But the truth was out. And once it was out, there was no going back. Once the truth was out, it spread faster than I could have imagined. My parents called David's parents. My friends called each other. Within days, everyone in our circle knew what Lily had confessed, that my husband had cheated on me with my best friend and gotten her pregnant. I thought exposure would bring me relief, but it was chaos. My phone buzzed constantly. Some people texted sympathy, others sent gossip disguised as concern. And then there were the people who took their side, whispering that maybe I'd neglected David, that maybe it wasn't all his fault. It was like watching my life fracture into pieces, each one dissected and judged by people who had no idea what it felt like to wake up every morning beside a liar. Lily stopped calling after our last fight, but she wasn't gone. I'd see her name on social media, people commenting on her pregnancy photos, congratulating her on being so strong. Strong? I wanted to scream. Strong isn't sleeping with your best friend's husband and hiding it until the lie suffocates you. David, on the other hand, became a shadow. He went to work and came home, moving around the house like a ghost. He barely ate, barely spoke. He begged me every night, "Please don't leave me. Please, we can fix this." But his apologies felt rehearsed, mechanical. He wasn't begging for me, he was begging for the life he didn't want to lose. Then Lily went into labor. I only found out because my mother, who still pitied her in some twisted way, called me. "She's at the hospital. She asked if you'd come." I almost laughed. She wants me there while she gives birth to my husband's child? But curiosity won. I drove there, my chest tight, my head spinning. When I walked into that hospital room, Lily was pale and sweaty, holding a newborn wrapped in a blanket. She looked up at me with exhausted eyes. "This is Emma," she whispered. I stared at the baby, tiny, innocent, oblivious to the destruction she represented. My stomach twisted. I hated Lily. I hated David. But this child? She hadn't asked for any of it. And then Lily dropped the bomb. "Please, I want you to be godmother. I know it's asking a lot, but I can't do this without you." I couldn't breathe. I backed out of the room and left without saying a word. That night, David confronted me. He had been at the hospital too, holding the baby, standing beside Lily like some twisted family portrait. "She needs help," he said. "The baby needs stability. You're the only one who can give that to us." "Us?" I snapped. "Do you even hear yourself? You're asking me to raise your love child with my best friend. Do you know how insane that is?" He grabbed my hands, desperate. "I don't love her. I love you. Please, don't punish the baby for our mistakes." Something in me broke. I realized then that he'd never understand. He'd never see how deeply he had gutted me. To him, this was about logistics, about patching together some broken version of family. To me, it was about betrayal so deep it poisoned everything. That night, I packed a suitcase. Not for a short escape this time, but for good. When I told my parents, my mother wept. My father looked at me with a grim kind of pride. "You don't deserve this," he said. "You don't have to carry their mistakes on your back." And for the first time since Lily's confession, I felt like maybe I wasn't drowning. But the storm wasn't over. Because divorcing David, cutting Lily out of my life, it wasn't going to be clean. There were families tangled, friendships ruined, reputations shattered. And I knew when I walked out that door for the last time, none of us would ever recover what we lost. The night I packed my suitcase, David stood in the doorway watching, his face pale, his lips trembling like a boy about to be abandoned. For a moment I thought he would try to stop me, grab my arm, beg one more time. But he didn't. He just whispered, "Don't do this. We can still fix it." I zipped the suitcase, looked him dead in the eyes, and said, "There's nothing left to fix." I left without looking back. The divorce process was brutal. David tried to fight it at first, sending me texts at 2 a.m, showing up at my parents' house, even begging me in front of my lawyer. But once the evidence was on the table, the messages Lily had sent me, the timeline he couldn't deny, he had no ground to stand on. His family called me, some crying, some angry. His sister begged me to reconsider, telling me the baby doesn't deserve to grow up in a broken home. I nearly laughed. Broken home? The home was shattered the second David crossed the line with Lily. I wasn't the one who broke it. Lily didn't reach out for weeks. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived in my mailbox. It was messy, scrawled with exhaustion, stained with something I think were tears. She wrote, "I know you hate me. I hate myself. But please, Emma deserves more than this. I want her to have an aunt, a godmother, someone who can protect her from my mistakes. Please don't punish her for what I did." I tore the letter in half. I wasn't going to raise the child that symbolized everything I lost. The fallout spread everywhere. Friends picked sides. Some stayed loyal to me, furious on my behalf. Others drifted toward Lily, buying into her story of being a single mother who made a mistake. The betrayal didn't just cost me my marriage and my best friend, it gutted my entire social circle. But oddly, I didn't care anymore. The pain had burned so hot it turned to ash. I threw myself into rebuilding. I moved into my own apartment, small but quiet, with no ghosts lingering in the walls. I started therapy, pouring out everything I'd swallowed, every laugh we'd shared at Lily's table, every promise David had made, every moment I thought my life was secure. And slowly, piece by piece, I started to feel like myself again. Months later, I heard through the grapevine that David had moved into a tiny apartment near Lily's. They weren't together officially, but he spent most nights there, helping with Emma. He looked older, thinner, defeated. The man who once strutted around calling himself my husband now looked like someone surviving on scraps. Lily? She posted smiling photos with the baby, pretending everything was perfect. But I knew better. She'd lost me. She'd lost my family. She'd lost the right to ever call herself my friend again. And me? I finally felt free. Yes, I lost almost everything I thought defined me, my husband, my best friend, my social circle. But what I gained was something they'll never have again: integrity. I'm not naive. The scars are there. Some nights I wake up in a panic, remembering her whisper, "The baby's father is David." Some mornings I feel the ache of absence, the whole of what I thought my future would be. But every time I feel that, I remind myself, I survived. And unlike them, I can look in the mirror without shame.
Follow me for more stories.